By now, you have seen the story of a completely innocent woman sitting on a train having her life erased by a deranged criminal. 14 arrests. A cover-up by local liberal / Democrat leadership and a mainstream media that has been completely silent. They're saying, oh my gosh, people only care because it was a white woman and a black man. Allow me to clear my throat. So, let's say that's true. So what? So, maybe people are tired of seeing the same headline every day. You all didn't have a problem when everyone seemed to care about George Floyd just because he had the same skin color as them. But when white folks are getting tired of it, it's a problem. Probably should have saved this spicy take for my second channel, but I've got another second channel video later today that's even more spicy. Make sure you subscribe to that. It's just called Jeremy Hambly. You can put it in the search results. You'll find it, or I'll link it in the description. So over the weekend, we had a lot of news around this, around DeCarlos Brown Jr. Now, I'm not going to show the video. I don't need to show you the video. We know what happened. A woman committed the crime of being near an unhinged black man. Happens all the time. I've got this video on the second channel later. Here's an Auburn University professor. Broad daylight had her life taken by, wow, would you look at that? Another deranged black man, 28 years old. Just, well, you know, her crime, I don't know, not crossing the street. I don't know how else to describe this. GoFundMe has yanked a sickening online fundraiser for the maniac accused of taking the life of a Ukrainian refugee on a North Carolina train after the legal defense funds sparked widespread outrage. Now, I want to first say this. Every time something like this happens, there is at least a 50% chance that this was just a troll. Okay. I've seen this happen a few times before. There were some, they had like a lock, stock, soy white guy, you know, in the profile picture for raising it. I don't know. It seems like a troll, but we live in the clown world, so I don't know. I don't know how else to, you know, I don't know how else to differentiate what's real and what's not. So they start a GoFundMe. Why? I don't know. Reasons. Because they can. I don't know. Because they want to troll. Here's this guy's picture. Well, what happened on the Blue Line was a tragedy. We mustn't lose sight of the fact that DeCarlos Brown Jr. was failed categorically by the judicial system and the mental health services of North Carolina, and such is not entirely to blame for what happened. As it is so, we endeavor to raise funds for his legal defense and hope to avoid punitive sentencing and get him the aid he requires. Now, it turns out this picture is a registered offender in King County. So I'm going to guess probably not a real Give, Send, Go or GoFundMe. By the way, this is what my second channel looks like. So when you search Jeremy Hambly, you'll see it. One new uncensored video per day. You guys are absolutely killing it. We're going for 100,000 subscribers. And if you guys stay subscribing to that channel at the level you are, we'll do it before the end of the month, which is bonkers. Guess people like the uncensored, spicy takes. The fundraising page suggests DeCarlos Brown Jr., a career criminal with no fewer than 14 arrests, is just a victim, just as much a victim as Lyrina Zarutska, the woman being knifed. Helping the 35-year-old homeless suspect would also support the fight against racism and bias against our people, one fundraiser reckoned. Somebody actually donated to it. Well, what happened on the Blue Line was a tragedy. We saw that part, right? It wasn't a tragedy. It happens every day, guys. I'm just, what are we talking about? Can we stop pretending like these deranged black men aren't picking off innocent white women and men every single day? It's happening every day. This is not a isolated incident. This is not a, boy, if only he had gotten more mental health support. It's every day. Every day. Now, I know, obviously, white people are committing crimes against other white people at a much higher number, right? That's just how numbers work. But let's start with this one. Let's get this cleaned up. Okay? How about that? Obviously, when white people do it to anybody, including other white people, it's also just as bad, and they deserve just as long of a prison sentence. What makes this different is that nobody's covering for white folks who are doing this, but the entirety of the mainstream media covered for this guy for almost a week. They're still not covering. Wait till you see the coverage that they did. You think they covered the crime? No. They covered that MAGA was upset. It says, race has F all to do with it. There would be absolute rage if the race was reversed. Another said, no, he isn't the victim of the broken judicial system. The only victim here is the woman. I can't believe people are fundraising for him. The platform moved to delete the pages as backlash mounted and screenshots of the psychotic fundraiser spread like wildfire on social media. GoFundMe's terms of service explicitly prohibits fundraisers that raise money for the legal defense of anyone formally charged in alleged aggressive crime. Consistent with this longstanding policy, the fundraiser has been removed from the platform, and donors who have contributed have been fully refunded. There's a lot of Ukrainian flag people on Twitter, which are generally leftoids, who aren't saying anything about this. I don't care that she was Ukrainian. Doesn't matter to me. Now, Donald Trump, not happy about it. This is kind of hard to hear. He says here, President Trump issued an ominous warning about the crime of against the Ukrainian woman who was in North Carolina. Daily Mail asked Trump about the incident. Trump said, who had sent troops to D.C., called it horrible and warned, I'll know all about it by tomorrow morning, suggesting Charlotte could be the next city to receive federal troops, and they should. Look, if these cities are choosing to not protect their citizens, not protect their people, why aren't we sending more feds there? I want to be protected. I don't care what skin color, by the way, the criminals are. If I had these roaming groups of people taking lives, I would want extra police. Trump, who has sent troops to Democrat-run D.C., called it incident horrible. The crazed attacker can be seen in this video lunging at her from behind before the footage skips the incident to show him walking through the train carrying his knife dripping with her fluids. While the images have caused nationwide outrage, the story was initially mostly ignored by national liberal media, including the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Associated Press, and CNN. A Daily Mail review of police records found that he was charged with misusing 911 as recently as January, when he told the cops he believed someone had given him a man-made material that controlled his actions. So the guy was a psychopath. This is yet another, person that should be in a mental institution. That's what this is. Another person who deserves to be in a mental institution. The shocking story of the attack was notably absent from U.S. liberal media sites, including the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Associated Press, and CNN. The Daily Mail contacted the outlets for clarification on the reasoning behind their editorial judgment. On Monday, most of the mentioned outlets had covered the story, followed the outrage over their prior exclusion. I mean, this was obviously a editorial choice to not cover it, right? Elon Musk and other right-wing figures complain. Here's the Times. The taking of life of a Ukrainian refugee in the U.S. ignites a row over race. Elon Musk and other right-wing figures complain that there's been little coverage of the taking of the life of a white woman of which a black man is accused. No, he did it. It's not even an accusal. We watched him do it on camera. What, are you kidding me? You're kidding me, right? This isn't she was accused of anything. This happened. Let me get this straight. A bartender can go to prison for serving drinks to a drunk person if they drive and take someone's life, but judges aren't accountable after letting a 14-time repeat offender take the life of a young woman. They should be. By the way, let's look at the judge. Magistrate Judge Teresa Stokes was releasing criminals like the Carlos Brown Jr. so they could get taxpayer-paid treatment at her Pinnacle Recovery Services Company. It would be a nice racket. Sounds crazy, but it isn't. Teresa Stokes, JD, MA, Chief Operating Officer for Pinnacle Recovery Services, and she was, of course, a judge. Court mandated, by the way. She was a magistrate judge in North Carolina. What a coincidence. Axios, grisly Charlotte crime video fuels MAGA's crime message. I love the Democrats are going to lose the midterms over this. Keep being the pro-crime party. I absolutely love it. Keep being the pro-crime party. Let's see how that works out for you. I mean, the idea that black people, and liberals, normal liberals, okay, the idea that they don't want safety, that they don't want criminals in jail either, is one of the single dumbest things that the Democrats have done, second only to this idea that, men should be in women's locker rooms. So yeah, keep it up. Keep it up. Keep calling us the crazy people for wanting crime. Keep starting GoFundMes. Keep having corrupt judges. Keep calling it, you would only care. You know what? I don't care. So what if I only care because their skin was white? That's not why I don't care. That's not the only reason I care. But let's say it is. You guys were fine with that being the standard for George Floyd. You guys were fine with that being the standard for that other guy who didn't do anything wrong and was a good boy. You're fine with that when the black community does it, when they burn down Wendy's because somebody who has the same skin color. Race tribalism is okay when it's any other race, right? I've got a lot more to say about this later today on the Jeremy Hambly channel. I'm at 84,800 subscribers. We're just 15K shy of reaching 100,000. Subscribe, you get one video a day, every day, including weekends on that channel. And you get uncensored takes. They're usually more breaking news, and there's going to be some deep dives and stuff like that there too. So check that out. We'll talk to you again real soon.